So my talk was focused mostly on how important it is for a state or for a country to take an economic development forward, right? In this data-driven economy, right? The last 10 years, if you look at it, the entire global economy is largely driven by data-driven. Talk about any of these new companies which generated a lot of jobs in economy. So with the context of that, I think it is very important for our state or for our country to, be relevant in that spectrum. So we focused on, how do we make analytics, how do we make data as an integral part of the administration in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and also how do we use this data with the help of data, how do we lift the social standards. Right. So these are majorly our focus areas has been. On the other side, it is also very important for a state like us, which is very new, about that bifurcated 4 years back. If we have to build an economy, we don't have a large cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, and any of these Madrasas and Bombay. So for us to actually build a new city or build a huge economic capital, I think it is very important for us to understand where the global economy is going towards. So the global economy is a lot to do with now data-driven companies and a lot of these companies which have been set up in the last 20 years, thanks to the internet and the data and so on and so forth. So our focus is also how do we make our talent pool very relevant, how do we make our talent pool most wanted talent pool for these kind of companies to look for Andhra Pradesh for setting up their companies or to expand their companies and so on and so forth, because ultimately this economy is lot driven with all of these, right? So most important part of any economy is the youth and the employees and the teams who are part of building great companies. I think one of the major focuses for us is how do we ensure that we make a good talent pool available in that. With that perspective, we've initiated something called a very unique model of education with a university that we created called International Institute of Digital Technologies. So International Institute of Digital Technologies has got a very unique model of bringing industry come and teach students, come and interact with students there. It's like fast mill kind of program, which is about for 1 year program, more like you get in there and actually get to learn on real stuff instead of just more theoretical, and from people in the industry, through interactions. And we also create a lot of programs around how do we industry people adopt some of these students and become mentors for them and so on and so forth. So the International Institute of Digital Technologies, the reason why we say unique model, it is supported, initiated by the government, pretty much run with the whole support of the industry, which is what we believe, because the industry changes are so fast today. Unless you expose the talent pool to the industry, you don't make them relevant. So that is one of the major successful initiatives that we have done. It's a very great case study. We churned out some of the students in the business analytics area and then also in the cyber security area. We've seen great results coming out of it. I think we're looking at this model to be probably one of the best case studies that will happen just for the whole country, not for the state as well. So the undivided Andhra Pradesh, where Hyderabad was part of it, I think one of the major focuses of embracing the IT boom at that point of time, building the Cyberabad, was, I think, one of the very interesting and pioneering journeys in the country, to the fact that one of the challenges at that point of time was the talent pool, and to mitigate that risk of losing out on a talent pool, in fact, we created a lot of engineering institutions, right, at that point of time. So in a way, during that point of time, it was 20 years back, during Y2K, we've been able to actually address the challenge, and then you see what Hyderabad is today all about, right? So now coming to the new bifurcated Andhra Pradesh, I think now it's the challenge is something new, right? So no more the talent pool that was 20 years back, what was relevant for IT companies are no more relevant for today's lot more analytics and artificial intelligence driven an economy today, right? So I think we're now looking at how do we sort of embrace this change, also ensure that we make our talent pool pretty much relevant. And for some of the things, in fact, one of the challenges that we face today is how do we in fact convince our kids in the colleges to go for companies which are new. For example, if there is a company who's got an offer to join a very new company which is 2-3 years old but doing really well, he may not be knowing about the company, but if he gets an offer from a company which is about 10 years, 20 years, 25 years old, which is pretty known, he's going for that, even though the kind of job and the kind of salary he gets in that is lower, and the opportunity that he would get probably is not great compared to the one that he gets. So there is a whole lot of awareness and aspirational issues are also there. That is also something that we are trying to address. We all still know that pretty much the parents play a lot of importance in terms of career decision making for the kids, even for the final years of engineering and so on and so forth. So we're also trying to do some of the stuff where we will be able to create an awareness through mainstream television channels, so even parents get to know what's actually happening with the global economy and how do we have to make our kids very relevant. Right, so we're looking at how do we make our kids to look at one of the most sought after career options today, which is what we're all talking about, right? So I think yes, the problems have been there. There have been challenges. I think good to have. It is all good problems and good challenges to have. I think we're working on it. I think. Thanks for the question. Well, the experience at Cypher was pretty good. I think, like I said, the lineup of your talks and so on and so forth, the whole program sheet has been fairly good. I think fairly well planned, and more importantly, the scale of it is, I think, amazing. I don't really expect the number of halls there. I mean, just the halls and the number of simultaneous sessions and the breakout sessions that would take in place, and I see the interactions that are happening. I think pretty much it's there for exactly you hit the bullseye what people want in an event like this.